Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Rundown, where we talk about 2A news and conservative views. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. But as we all know, I normally don't do this program by myself, but unfortunately today, once again, Mike is, flying the friendly skies, so he's off doing his thing. So, got to earn those dollar bills, y'all. That's what we are as we, us free market capitalists. Sometimes we have to give up the things that we want to do. And, we have the things we have to do in order to do the things we want to do. So, in any case, thank you so much for tuning in. I will be here because, like I said, I've got y'all. Y'all feel free to please comment. As you know, this thing, we're streaming all over the place. There's tons of places where you can watch this program. If you're watching it recorded and you want to watch it live, the rundown is 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday. If you want to participate and comment live, you can watch us on Facebook. You can watch us on YouTube. If you want to watch us on YouTube, you can watch us either through the California Republican Assembly's page, a YouTube channel, or you can watch us via the, or you can watch us via 2A News. If you want to watch us on Facebook, you can go to our Facebook page, The Rundown, or you can actually also go to OpsLens. You can watch us through OpsLens. By the way, OpsLens also has a phenomenal app you can watch us through as well. By the way, also, we're on Rumble, so you can watch us through OpsLens' Rumble, as well as through CRA's Rumble, or through the Rundown's Rumble. I'll be trying to do the best I can to monitor all of those, and if I see a good comment from you, I will make sure to to recognize it and say something during the program. Apologize. I got a lot to kind of monitor when I'm doing this by myself, so I can't get to everybody, but I'll see if I can get to you. In any case, so please check it out. Encourage your friends to check it out as well. Before we get into today's news, let's go ahead and let's give a quick shout out to our sponsors. We're going to start with Hitman Industries. Folks, if you're looking for a rifle or pistol length barrel, I can recommend no better place for you to go than Hitman Industries. Once again, rifle and pistol length and caliber barrels. They also have Glock barrels. And if you are a first responder, just let them know, and you will get a first responder discount. Once again, that's hitmanindustries.net. Then you've got the California Republican Assembly, otherwise known as the conscience of the Republican Party. That's what Ronald Reagan said. Anyway, CRA is working to help elect conservatives at all levels of government, from school board all the way up to President of the United States. Please check them out at cragop.org. If you want to be a part of California's future today, join CRA. Then we've got the Hog Holsters, helping Americans wear guns. That's right, HAWG holsters.com. When you go there, make sure you use the discount code The Rundown, all caps, no spaces. Get your discounted hog holster today. And finally, if you're looking for any sort of tactical gear, indoor or outdoor, cold weather, warm weather, you're looking for something to cover your head or something to cover your feet, something to carry stuff in on your back, or something to warm your hands. Trust me, they've got it at uscombatgear.com. Check them out. Veteran owned and operated, fast shipping, great prices. The place to get all your tactical gear. All right, let's get into today's first story. White House doxed Special Forces team. Now, this one is important enough because obviously we named this one, the title of the program was this one. And that's because, well, as you know, the folks over at the Biden administration are wholly unqualified to be running this country. I think we all know this by now. But here's just another example of just a military / foreign policy / government screw up by the Biden administration that just goes to show you how little they know or understand about what they're doing. Now, this is reported by American Wire News. Massive failure. Biden White House just doxed the Special Forces team sent to Israel to help free hostages. In another misstep that borders on criminal, President Joe Biden's White House evidently posted and then deleted an image that could risk lives. The White House IG posted images of the Special Forces team without blurring their faces before eventually deleting it only after thousands already saw it. Chaya Rychik, who runs the popular Libs of TikTok account on X, tweeted yesterday. This is what happens when you value diversity over competence in your hiring process, she added. Everyone involved in that post decision should be fired. And I completely agree. And this is exactly what she said. Well, I guess those are her comments. And if you look here, it says here, once again, the White House team shared this picture last night. I added the black boxes. So this guy added the black boxes without blurring or censoring the faces of the Delta Force CAG operators' faces. They deleted it an hour later after hundreds of thousands had already viewed it. So in other words, Biden meets with this team that is sent there to help free hostages. Now, I'm assuming that because they're a Delta Force team, they're supposed to be somewhat covert. And it doesn't really help you be covert if people can't see your face. Right? Right? Am I wrong? I mean, I don't know. I'm no military expert, but I did sleep at Holiday Inn Express last night. No, I didn't. But you get my point, right? I mean, here we are. I wish I could say that I was surprised. I really want to say I'm surprised that they did something this stupid, but they didn't. I'm not. I mean, but I'm not. I'm not surprised that they did. It is consistent with who they are, because once again, they really don't value. They don't value what they're doing, and they don't, in particular, they don't value or are interested in protecting or looking after the people who are supposed to. They're supposed to be, leading. One would say, but no, they're not interested in that. Anyway, whether it's the pulling out, whether it's the pulling out of Afghanistan, whether it's just once again, failure after failure after failure when it comes to how we deal with stuff, how the Biden administration deals with stuff. And this is one that once again could cost lives, not just the lives of those Delta Force units, those individuals, but what about the people that they're there to protect? What about the people that they're there to hopefully help free? I mean, why would you, once again, it's all a campaign stunt because it's all meant to make him look strong. He's meeting with soldiers. So because he's meeting with soldiers, he's going to look nice and strong. Obama's going to, not Obama. Okay, was that a Freudian slip? I think it was. But they're trying to make their commander-in-chief look like a commander-in-chief. And instead of doing his job and looking like a commander-in-chief, he'd rather do press meetings or do photo ops and then make sure that let's put the lives of those individuals in those photo ops at risk. That's how the Biden administration does it. Once again, I wish I could tell you I was surprised. I am not, as I know you all also are not surprised. Anyway, moving right along. Item number 2. Disinformation expert guilty of disinformation. Okay, I'm going to correct that only in that he was both a victim and was guilty of disinformation. Because he's the one who helped to disseminate the disinformation. And here you have right here, let me pull this article up right here. All right, so you have award-winning disinformation expert fooled by Palestinian disinformation. NBC's Ben Collins promotes terrorist talking points after hospital bombed in Gaza. Now, to his defense, he was not the only one, but yeah, he's one of the few that actually decries himself or believes himself to be a disinformation expert. So here's what happened. Ben Collins, the so-called journalist who covers disinformation, extremism, and the internet for NBC News, was fooled by disinformation peddled by extremists on the internet. A hospital, Collins fumed in response to a false claim from the Palestinian officials that hundreds of civilians were killed in an Israeli airstrike on a hospital in Gaza. Fact check. A rocket fired from Gaza toward Israel by the terrorist group Islamic Jihad malfunctioned, causing it to land in a parking lot near Al-Ahli Hospital. What we do know is that hundreds are dead at the hospital, Collins later asserted. Be smart. It's not known how many people were killed in the Islamic Jihad rocket. Whoopsie, because Palestinian officials are known peddlers of disinformation. And here's, by the way, why it matters. Collins and other mainstream media reporters have been whining for years about the dangers of so-called disinformation, yet they are often easily duped by disinformation that confirms their beliefs. In this case, that Israel loves to bomb hospitals and Palestinian officials aren't capable of lying. And here's, by the way, his actual quote, quote unquote, a hospital. And this is once again what they show from Sky News. Now, he's actually showing what someone sent to Sky News, right? Now, here's the thing, folks, that gets me is it doesn't take much. It doesn't take much to try and figure this out. You can say, it's one thing to say there was an explosion at a hospital, right? But what we know now is number one, we already know that it didn't hit a hospital. It hit a parking lot next to the hospital. So chances of 500 being dead, by the way, which by the way, we still haven't gotten how they confirmed or how they noted minutes after it happened that 500 were dead. Keep in mind that when the attacks took place in Israel, it was weeks before we had anywhere close to an accurate number of individuals who were killed, right? But somehow they knew 500 people right away were dead. Oh, yeah, at a hospital that wasn't hit. Then there was also video, and we showed you the video last week, of the rocket being shot from within Gaza and hitting the hospital. Now, even if you didn't have that information right up front, here's what we know. We know that the health authority that they quoted, that was quoted by mainstream media, that liberals too, it's run by Hamas. And Hamas lies. We know they lie. We know they've lied before. There was an instance before where they had talked about a bombing in Gaza, and come to find out that the imagery that they were showing, the people they were showing, was from Syria. It wasn't even from the Gaza Strip. But anyway, once again, we know they lie. We also know that Israel goes out of its way. The Israelis go out of their way to not hit hospitals. There is a Hamas headquarters is right underneath a hospital. And you would ask yourself, why not just bomb that place and get it over with? Because it's a hospital. Because they know that guys like Ben Collins over at NBC News, the disinformation specialist, yeah, they know that he, being the disinformation specialist that he is, will report on it. And he will claim that they went directly after these folks in order to kill civilians. Once again, we know that. Oh, look, here we have a comment over here at OpsLens. Let's see if I can bring this up real quick. Oh, this is Mark. Mark says, a definition of the Biden administration: subversive jackass, junior high. Biden and his seditious band of political assassins, sociopaths, and traitors are engaging in deliberate, systematic, and aggressive weakening, wounding, and undermining of our beloved republic. Just so you know, Mark, you get an A+ for your use of the thesaurus today. Thank you so very much. I think you hit just about every single one of your vocabulary words. My favorite, though, there is jackass junior high. I like that. I'm sorry, that's just my favorite of all of those. But you guys get the point, right? I mean, the point he's trying to make here is that, forget these guys. I'm sorry. They're just wrong. They are just wrong to do what they did. And once again, and I think the key point of this article is they're pointing out that they're more than willing to believe disinformation that confirms their beliefs. I go round and round with some of these folks about it when it comes to stuff like book bans, right? I will tell you right now, like, they're going out of their way to talk about books being banned, but nobody's actually banned books. And then they're going to say, oh, they're banning books about black people. And they're not banning books about black people. There are no instances. In fact, the ones that are classics that people are talking about, like To Kill a Mockingbird, liberals are going after those because they have things like the N-word in them, right? That's why they are going after them, because they show depictions not too complimentary depictions of black people. That's why they're going after them. They keep telling people, oh, they're going after these books because they have LGBTQ characters. No, they're going after them because they contain porn, because they contain pornographic passages, pornographic images, and promotion of pornography and pedophilia. But, hey, what do I know? All I can tell you is that there are people, once again, people in the liberal media are more than willing to promote that narrative because it fits what they think. They're not going to verify it. I'll tell you how bad I am. I will, if I see a meme that confirms what I believe, before I will share a meme that confirms my beliefs, I will fact check the meme, because I don't want to be seen as putting false narratives out there. Now, what's funny is I had one meme that Facebook actually fact checked. Here's what they did. They said, well, you need to provide, they fact checked something. No, they fact check a claim that wasn't even made, that I didn't make in my post, and that was not made in the meme. But yet for some reason they felt the need to fact check that point. What? Yeah. But that's what they do. Liberals like to create straw man arguments so that, because they know that they can't really argue against the facts, because the facts are not on their side. The truth is not on their side. So, they like making this stuff up as they go along. Anyway. So always be careful when someone calls themselves, hey, first of all, anyone who's willing to anoint themselves as like, for example, a disinformation czar, somebody who says, oh yeah, I'm going to make sure that I'm going to check all these facts and make sure I check disinformation. Let me tell you something. They are a liar, because here's the thing. Ultimately, there is no perfect source of information. There really isn't. I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I never get it wrong. I will tell you that I go out of my way to try and find accurate information. If I haven't verified information, I'll tell you I haven't verified it. Or if I'm not sure, I will tell you. And if I am pretty sure about it, I'll do my best to try and make sure that I provide you with all the links, verifications, whatever I can, in order to show you that, I at least did my due diligence on it. So, but that's what you got to do, folks. I hate to say this at times. You also have to do your own due diligence. Sometimes it just be like that. All right. But let's talk about disinformation. Now, there's misinformation and disinformation. Misinformation is wrong information. It's maybe not intentional. It's just bad information, right? Disinformation is when you intentionally provide bad information. Now, I'll give you an example. So when we talk about the whole rocket thing, right? Misinformation is when, for example, they saw that guy, Ben Collins. I'll admit he probably looked at the report from Sky News and was like, okay, well, I can report on this. I can say this because, well, hey, it's someone else is reporting it. Turns out that someone else was wrong, and he didn't even bother to check it. All right, well, that's misinformation. He didn't know that he was passing along bad intel, bad information. Then there's what Rashida Tlaib has been doing, Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib, who days after the truth has been revealed regarding the hospital, regarding the bombing, regarding the fact that it was the Islamic Jihad rocket that landed and hit the hospital, regardless of the fact that we know it didn't actually hit the hospital, that it hit the parking lot, and that 500 are not the number dead, she still repeatedly has said it multiple times at multiple events, including the siege, the insurrection I think it was at the Capitol, but I think it was at a legislative building. She did that. I hate to say it, she did it. She flat out knew. She knew the truth. She knew that what had been put out there, the information she had, was a lie, and she chose to still chose to perpetuate the lie. That's disinformation. And that, by the way, is what Associated Press is also guilty of. Because according to the Washington Free Beacon, the Associated Press would not let would not let reporters call Hamas a terrorist organization. News organization says journalists should refer to its former office mates as militants. Ooh, what's that? Former office mates. Okay, I missed that when I first went through it. It says the Associated Press instructs reporters and organizations that rely on its style guide to avoid referring to Hamas as a terrorist organization, the Washington Free Beacon review of the organization's standards found. The news outlet states in its Israel-Hamas topical guide that because terrorism and terrorists have become politicized and often are applied inconsistently, the Associated Press is not using the terms for specific actions or groups other than in direct quotations. The guidance will affect how dozens of regional newspapers and national outlets like Politico report on the ongoing war in Gaza. Hamas is an Islamic militant group dedicated to the annihilation of Israel and Jews around the world, is classified as a terrorist organization by dozens of countries, including the United States and the European Union. Hamas has undertaken hundreds of terrorist attacks against civilians since 1993, according to Jewish Virtual Library. Now, let's ignore all that and just consider this point. In this whole battle, I mean, what we're talking, the only reason we're talking about this right now is because Hamas militants, that's what they want to call them, militants, invaded Israel, killing almost 1,500 Israeli citizens, most of which were civilians, many of which were women who were raped and murdered and had their bodies strewn about and displayed around the streets as the people who raped them yelled, Allahu Akbar, praise be to Allah. Many of whom were children, not just teenagers. There were teenagers and young people at a concert where they flew in and on hang gliders or paragliders and killed hundreds of young people attending a peace concert, a concert that was dedicated to peace. They decided to go and kill and mow them down. Young people, children, teenagers. That also doesn't include the number of children that were killed, some of which were burned alive, burned to death, and some of which were decapitated. Now, in what world are any of those actions not terrorism? Oh, by the way, I almost forgot. And then they proceeded to share their exploits all over the internet and social media with videos that they took as they were engaging in these activities. They took the videos and shared them. In what world is that not terrorism? Please, somebody tell me. Tell me in the chat. If it's not terrorism, tell me right now. Show me right now how it is not terrorism. Because the whole idea behind it, the whole idea behind doing such horrific things and publicizing it is to create an atmosphere of, wait for it, terror. That's the whole point of it. That's the whole reason behind it. So how is it not terrorism? We know that it is. You know that it is. Let's not worry about whether or not it's politicized or not. Let's look at the actions that were engaged in, and you tell me whether or not that was terrorism. Sorry, but I'm pretty sure if you are objective, if one applies an objective standard, you will recognize that that was in fact terrorism. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm more than welcome to. By the way, just so you know, for those of you who don't know, I'm real quick to. I will admit when I'm wrong if you prove me wrong. So, but you got to prove it. You can't just say it. Got to come with evidence, come with facts, come with arguments. and we can have that conversation. Okay, moving right along. Where are we at now? Oh, D.C. Mayor reverses defund the police policy. Woo! This is a big one. This, by the way, is not just happening. It's not just happening in D.C. This is happening in cities all across the country. Cities that in 2020 were engaged or went headfirst into the defund the police movement. That's right. Well, now all of a sudden they're realizing that when you defund the police, some police quit. Some police who are on the job, when you make it harder, by the way, when you institute rules that end up with them losing their jobs or winding up in jail for them doing their jobs, they wind up, not doing their jobs quite the way they used to, which means that crime goes up because criminals know. There's actually a very detailed study that's been done that shows whenever you start instituting one of these, go after the police or restrain the police or defund the police, whenever there's one of those big movements or pushes, that crime goes up in whatever city that whole thing is being pushed in. Well, that's exactly what happened in Washington, D.C. And now you've got the Democratic mayor there. Well, Muriel Bowser is changing her tune. It says Washington, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser says new legislation addressing crime trends bolstering police is common sense, which means, Madam Bowser, that the stuff you were pushing before, the defund the police stuff you were pushing before, that was common nonsense. Here we go. Washington, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser flipped the script on George Floyd-era police reforms Monday by introducing new legislation to address skyrocketing crime in the nation's capital. Speaking from Ward 4, Bowser, a Democrat, rolled out the proposal deemed the Addressing Crime Trends Act, which clarifies the distinction between a serious use of force and incidental contact with the neck, ensures officers can review their body-worn camera footage prior to writing their initial report, in certain circumstances, makes permanent clarification of vehicular pursuit and defines what information will be posted publicly relating to officer discipline. MPD continues to be a leader in fair and constitutional policing across the nation. They continue to work every day to have and keep the trust of our city. And this legislation won't change that. It will, however, support the department in dealing with some of the negative consequences of the Comprehensive Police Adjustment and Injustice Amendment Act. Some of the changes that were made just don't match the daily practice of safe and effective policing, Bowser said. And whether that's around incidental contact you can make with a person, or how officers can use their body-worn camera footage to write reports, or whether police are allowed to safely chase a criminal who's right in front of them. Now, I want you to understand that this change of heart came about because, let's just be real, it wasn't largely there. Most of the people who were clamoring for the police to be defunded, and I know some of y'all are going to be like, "Oh, why are you bringing?" They were basically well-off white liberals who could afford their own, whose policing wasn't going to be affected in their community, right? They were just fine. They weren't going to see a reduction in their police. They wanted a reduction of police in communities where largely, predominantly, people of color, who, by the way, wanted the police there. Because they realized once you get rid of the police, then what happens? I'll tell you what happens. You get more crime. Because criminals like to go. Criminals are like any other businessman, right? They want to go to a place that's business friendly. No cops means it's business friendly. Not that hard to figure out, right? Simple enough, right? But, but the other thing is, it's coming around to election time. And Democrats are realizing, and I think every poll that is out there will tell you that Democrats are losing on the issue of crime. If they lose elections, crime, homelessness, and the border, and inflation, these are the big issues. These are the issues that are most people are thinking about. And Democrats are on the wrong side of each and every one of them. Yeah. They're on the wrong side of each and every one. And by the way, they know it. They know it. They know they are. And now they're trying to get on the right side of it. Just remember, when you go to vote, if you have an opportunity to put someone else in office who has always stood for protecting your community, how about you go with that? How about you follow them? How about you go with those folks? Just an idea. How about you go with the folks who've always had your back? Is that too much to ask? I don't know. Don't know if it is. Don't know if it isn't. But all I know is it's a lot easier to ask people who have always stood, who ideologically believe in protecting you, in that the government's role is to protect you from crime and from criminals and from evildoers. If you believe that, if you have someone who believes that fundamentally, chances are much greater that they are actually going to then implement policy that is going to do that. And that's ultimately what you want. It's people who are going to support policy that is going to support you. That's my 2 cents. Okay, moving right along. We have now reached that time, and it is time for our parting shots. Brought to you by Hog Holsters. It's helping America wear guns. Go to hogholster.com. Use discount code The Rundown, all caps, no spaces. Get your Hog Holster today. Okay, moving along to our first one. This is interesting. So they accused Donald Trump. They said Donald Trump was going to do a lot of things, right? But it's kind of funny how much this has been turned on them. Because if you think about it, this one says, so basically, the people who claim Trump would crash the economy, start World War III, have crashed the economy and started World War III. Funny how that works, huh? Yeah, I know. I hear you. Funny stuff. But that's pretty much where we're at. And who, by the way, is that guy? Well, the guy who's responsible for doing all of that, well, he's actually running for president. And here's, this is his page. It says, incoherent candidate for president. Mumble, mumble, Super Thursday. Mumble, mumble, oh Biden. Oh, Biden, Obama years. Mumble, mumble, take care of the cure. That will make the problem worse. Mumble, mumble. That's Joe. Oh, he's wearing his Joe 2020 sticker. Or button, or whatever you want to call it. Funny stuff. Okay, and this last one, for those of you who doubt that, or are wondering what that Hamas and Hezbollah, you're doubting that they are products of Iran. Well, here we have evidence that they are products of Iran. Those of you who are only listening and not watching, this one's going to be a little bit harder for you to enjoy. But here you've got Biden. I will call him Biden. Biden, who is because I just noticed he's still got the little Biden cufflinks on. That's funny. So it's Biden with blood on his hands, feeding what appears to be gold dust or money to Iran, and then you see a couple of little. Are those chocolate ice cream emojis? No, they're not. Okay. Well, what appear to be feces. All right, 2 turds. He's got 2 turds. One is Hezbollah, one is Hamas. And the point being that, yeah, we give money to Iran. And we, by the way, the Biden folks have given hundreds of millions of dollars to Iran. And that money has actually gone to help create the poop storm or poop show that is Hamas and Hezbollah. And by the way, just so you know, it's true. I'll just leave it at that. All right. Well, with that, we're going to come around to the end of the day. But before we go, let's give another quick shout out to our sponsors. You got Hitman Industries. Go to hitmanindustries.net. Make sure you tell me you're a first responder. If you are, get your discount today. Get rifle and pistol length barrels. Then you've got the California Republican Assembly. If you want to be a part of California's future today, join CRA. You got a hog holster. Get your hog holsters at hogholster.com. Use discount code The Rundown, all caps, no spaces. Get your hog holster today. And finally, outdoor gear, indoor gear, tactical gear, whatever kind of gear you're looking for, everything but the gun, you can get it right there at uscombatgear.com. And that's going to be it for today. Once again, we appreciate you tuning in. We appreciate you liking and sharing the program and encourage your friends to do the same. Folks, please, please, please share. Let them know that the rundown is, if you enjoy the show, tell your friends. Share it with your friends. Share this link, however you partake, share it with your friends and encourage them to partake in the program as well. And with that, we're going to call it a day. We'll be back tomorrow on Taco Tuesday. Hope you all have a good evening, and we will see you tomorrow. Peace out.